Weekend Central here on TV3. My name is Godwin Asediba.
And I am Grace Hamwa. Coming up this afternoon.
In the bulletin, Chieftaincy and Religious Minister defends introduction of a national policy on religion.
Also, the National Democratic Congress 2024 flag bearer John Mahama continues his Building Ghana tour in the Western region.
Also in the bulletin, we have a report on how parents can support children with learning difficulty known as dyslexia. We have details of these and many stories coming your way. Remember, we are live on DSTV channel 279, also streaming across the world on Facebook at TV3 Ghana. To stay with us.
Let's start with education, because at 13 years, Abriana Ablodi wants to become an architect, but she faces a learning difficulty known as dyslexia. Frederick Kunzo Tiani reports on how Abriana is braving the odds to ensure her dream becomes a reality. Thirteen-year-old Abriana is a creative and imaginative child who aspires to be an architect. However, her journey is hindered by dyslexia, a learning difficulty that primarily affects the skills involved in accurate and fluent word reading. This has made activities such as drawing and painting challenging for her.
I like sewing, I like drawing and painting, and I like doing robotic stuff. Sometimes my mom will be like, why is my sister better than me? I don't know how to spell. My sister can read books, but me, I can't read books.
Abriana, who has struggled with reading and writing since childhood, struggles with decoding words, recognizing sight words, and understanding written text meaning. Her condition has led her to switch schools multiple times due to the inability of teachers and colleagues to understand her.
The school I am, they don't bully me, but my former school, they were like, you can't spell this. How old are you that you can't spell this word, just common word called music? And that was even what the teacher was telling me. That common music, you can't spell it. I was so bad, and I had to tell my mother.
Her parents, unaware of her challenge, initially scolded her for her poor school performance. Now, her family is supportive of her.
We tried to give her a better education. She went to a very good school, so we're expecting her to excel, to do better when it comes to her studies. So when she got to grade 4, we had someone teaching her at home, and he said, what this girl is going through is not normal, because we are doing our best. Even as a teacher, I am teaching her simple things that I expect her to know. Unfortunately, she's still not able to catch up.
I didn't know anything about dyslexia until I realized my sister had one of the challenges. But until we realized that was it, I had to go onto the internet to search about what dyslexia means and what other challenges it comes with, the effects and stuff. We don't usually relate with her like her other siblings. We usually have to take our time and then treat her as a special child.
They are now advocates urging parents to accept that children learn differently.
It doesn't mean that your daughter or son has dyslexia if he or she cannot read or write. You have to go and see a clinical psychologist or a neurologist for them to assess the child. Let's show the child so much love. Even if he or she makes mistake, let's correct them with love, and that will help our children.
Even though Ghana does not have enough data on this learning condition called dyslexia, it has been estimated that about 10% of the Ghanaian population may have dyslexia. Let's have a longer on this and speak to Alexa Mankwa, who is head of the Special Education Unit at the Ghana Education Service. Mr. Mankwa, good afternoon to you. Thank you for joining us.
Good afternoon.
Yes, we know that data from the Ghana Education Service says out of every 40 students, 10 of them have dyslexia. How worrying is this to the education progress that we are looking at as a country?
Yeah, thank you very much. Let me quickly make these few corrections. One, I am not head of special education at GES. I'm the unit head of learning disabilities. Unit head of learning disabilities, yes. And the secondly, for GES and special education data indicating that 10% or 10 out of the 40, that issue is by cursory survey and observation that we have made.
Okay.
But it is not a data that has been collected. We are yet to do that. We haven't come to that yet. Yes.
Okay.
So, yeah, so kindly ask your question again.
All right. So even if it is 1%, it is a cause of worry because we all hope that all our children are able to study and become who we want them to be. So how worrying is this for the Ghana Education Service?
Yeah, for Ghana Education Service, it is really worrying. And that is why that unit, Learning Disabilities Unit, has been set up to do a number of things for us to be able to salvage these categories of learners and be able to give them interventions and specific supports. Now, knowing that it has huge implications upon the nation, we have taken to creating vigorous awareness and advocacy. So at the advocacy level, the teachers would be able to stand in for the children because they have become aware of the pervasiveness of this issue. Then we are looking out for, because we want to erode the implications of delinquency and school dropouts, we are going downstream to do further training so that the teachers will be able to support us with identifying these children. Identification is really key. Teacher training is really key. So if we are able to perform the informal assessment, which will give us the indicators and the data that we need, then we will be able to provide interventions and some of the support that we need.
What is the roadmap for the program or projects you're rolling out next year?
Yeah, so for next year, our program is really comprehensive. We are looking at training the regional special education coordinators in all the regions, and that will be what we call the national core trainers. These national core trainers would empower them to go ahead to train the district special education coordinators in all the districts in Ghana, and that will be what we call the district teacher support teams. So the district teacher support teams, the DSTS, would also go and train the CISOs, the head teachers, and then the curriculum leads. It means that we are spreading it to go downstream to the level of the teachers. These ones, the head teachers, the curriculum leads, and the CISOs will be much aware of the enormity of the issue. So going down, it is of great concern. You will take it personal to do the training.
All right.
The other service secretariat is paying them through the government, so they would also be able to support with the resource teachers that we have.
Samankwa, until then, what should we be looking out for the Ghana Education Service? What should teachers be doing? What should parents be doing? And education stakeholders as a whole?
Wonderful. Information is really key. If we don't have the right information to give or to deliver, teachers will do their best, but they will not be able to deliver in the way that they want. So at the first stage, if you don't have the intervention skills and the creative pedagogies to be able to teach them, at least every teacher can use the basic support system of motivation when you have become aware. We have revamping of the self-image of the children. And then the next thing is to concentrate on the areas of their strength, not on the weakness of them being able to read or write or do math. No, concentrate on their areas of strength. Any area at all that you find a child being able to give us something, these are the areas we're looking out for, so that they will have the growth mindset to also flow along with their other colleagues in the classroom.
All right, Mr. Samankwa, thank you for speaking to us. Alex Samankwa is Unit Head, Learning Disability at the Ghana Education Service.
Away from education, Minister of Energy Matthew Opoku-Prempeh says the electorates would not make a mistake and return former President John Dramani Mahama in the 2024 general elections. According to the Menchia South lawmaker, John Dramani Mahama's 24-hour economy would not make any major impact going into the 2024 elections. And my colleague William Evans Inkum is joining us with details on this. William, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Godwin.
Where was the energy minister speaking and what exactly has he been saying?
Well, Godwin, so that was the Prempeh Assembly Hall yesterday. But let me also tell you that in the Ashanti region, the political strategy, among the major political parties, including the Movement for Change, has been couching messages that will target the youth. And don't be surprised about that, because I told you earlier that in 2021, the population and housing census indicated that the youth constitute about 80% of the population. And of course, they are the one who are also talking going into the 2024 general election. And I must also say that John Dramani Mahama's 24-hour economy is gradually gaining ground as far as the political environment is concerned. And of course, the NPP, who also holds that political landlord as far as the Ashanti region is concerned, will also not sit aloof and watch it gain ground. So they have been engaging. And yesterday's engagement was one of the series of engagement that the Ashanti Regional Youth Organizer, Safo Patrick, has arranged just so that they'll also be able to protect their base as far as the youth in the Ashanti region is concerned. So Napo was just saying that indeed President John Dramani Mahama has made several promises, especially when he went to the Bono region and of course engaged the nurses. He told them that, well, the nurse allowances was scrapped during his administration because of exigencies of the time, and they needed to be given some level of assurance that once they complete their nursing training colleges, they'll have job to do. So when it was scrapped, the money was used to build CHIPS compound, health facilities, and what have you, so that they'll be able to get employment to do. So that has been the defense. Well, Wanapo is also saying that that particular defense that the former President John Dramani Mahama employed whilst on a tour of the Bono region doesn't wash. And it doesn't change the leopard color, so or the leopard spots. They are going to tell Ghanaians that the former president has nothing to offer the electorate. And for that matter, if they have any political trust, that particular trust must be imposed in the MPP. Listen to Napo, and I will do the translation later.
Well, William, before you go, we know that the Ashanti region, aside being the World Bank of the NPP, anytime the party gets below 70% of votes, it opposes them in a positive manner towards the election. So how significant is the move to energize, especially the youth, on this particular basis?
Well, absolutely. So anytime they go beyond 70%, then they have, one would say, that opportunity of retaining power, depending on what also happened, especially in the swing regions like the central and the western, how they also able to at least garner enough votes in the northern part of the country. But Ashanti region has always been the stronghold. Now, there's some level of apathy, and that is exactly what the MPP is also working at. In fact, the promise per the earlier tape that, or the earlier voice that we played from the energy minister, the promise is that by next year, there's going to be a change in the paradigm. There's going to be a massive or drastic change as far as the economy is concerned. Ashanti region will also feel the full positive impact of that particular economy. And he is sure that by 2025, around this time, the vice president will have formed a transitional government, trying to say that they will take the realms of power. So that is all that he's been saying, but he's been giving some level of assurances that no matter what is happening, there's going to be a change in the paradigm.
All right, thank you very much, William Evans Inkum. William Evans Inkum is my colleague in the Ashanti Regional Capital, Kumasi. Let's still stay in politics because flag bearer of the National Democratic Congress and former President John Dramani Mahama is in the Western region continuing his Building Ghana tour. On Saturday at a town hall meeting in Jawas Wharf in the Jomro constituency, Mahama questioned the mistreatment of citizens living across the border.
Across the border, Ghana for, and so Cote d'Ivoire Asare so.
Baumia says you could even travel with a Ghana card outside the country. This is just across the river, yet people are being extorted. We are being told if you show your Ghana card, the Ghana card is said not to be valid. I wish to draw the attention of immigration officials that the Ghana card is a travel document and must be respected as such.
Energy too. Ora say Ghana card ultimately the 2 coin ekwa brochirimpo. Where near brochirimpo. Where Asase so ya transio aba na ya GSK. You see the Ghana card mpochira. Ghana card no enye juma. Enti immigration for mo tiemia mesramu. Ghana card no yetimi the 2 coin. Enti omo ban no mo chere Ghana card I chese omo ya Ghana for. I was saying, "Mubi coin na omutimeba."
The NDC flag bearer of the NDC, John Dramani Mahama, beg your pardon, is continuing his tour in the Western region, and Komla Kluche has been with him since he started, and he joins us to give us insights on that. Komla, if you can hear me, we heard John Mahama has been talking about the difficulty residents in Jomro face. Tell us more about what prompted the comment.
Where John Mahama was speaking was a border town close to the Ivory Coast, and these were concerns that the people, were expressing. In fact, one of the things that the town hall meeting does is to allow the people to express themselves without fear of favor. Come face to face with him and tell him directly what the challenges are and how they want him to solve it. And so some of the concerns that the people raised included this one. Quick had a reaction from John Mahama, and in fact, his post-trend showed that it wasn't the first time. Most of the border communities that he had gone to, this issue had become quite a topical one, and so he thinks that the system should just be allowed to work. The issue of the Ghana card, yes, of course, the Ghana Immigration Service and other security agencies should up their game to ensure that they give some leverage to the people. But beyond this, John Mahama has been going to several other areas, also paying some courtesy call on some traditional rulers. And I can tell you the Western region being a swing region, a lot of reaction is coming from the chiefs, mostly condemning the conduct of the government, where they have put the economy as it is now. In fact, some have been quite frontal to the extent that they have even roped in the flag bearer of the NPP, who is the current second gentleman of the land, Dr. Mahmoud Baumia, where the chiefs are saying that if the president says that he is done and he is going out of office, well, he should be going with his ministers, inclusive of his head of economic management team. Some of these are some of the concerns that have been expressing. But beyond that, John Mahama has been telling them that, yes, he knows that they are a swing region, and despite the fact that they have secured oil, they haven't really had anything good for their money in terms of the resources gotten there. It's assuring them that they will give them the best in terms of their roads, because some of these roads come under the cocoa sector. It also comes under the oil revenues that should be generated. That should be pumped back into the communities where oil is found, but they are not getting it. Just a short while ago, he just finished with a town hall meeting in Apua, where he's been encouraging the people, especially teachers and other workers, but most importantly telling them that the need for government to scrap the nuisance taxes, including the e-levy and also the COVID levy. COVID is over. Why is government still charging COVID levy? If he comes to power, it's one of the very first things that he will be able to do when he assumes the reins of power by 2025. This is all the assurance that has been given to the people.
Komla, before you go, how is the reception at where you are at the moment?
I can't say that the reception is one which is I can describe as a clamor for change, a clamor for him to come and take them out of the doldrums of the hardship that the economy has imposed on the people. Many of them are saying that they have regretted giving again an opportunity to the NPP. They thought that the things that the NPP told them in 2016 and 2020 were things that would change their livelihood. Unfortunately, it was all lies, and so for them, they have regretted, and it's only one thing they want to see: a leader who understands them, a leader who would be truthful to them, and a leader who would be able to take them out of the economic quagmire that the country currently finds itself. And that person, they say, is John Dramani Mahama and the NDC.
Thank you very much for those insights. Komla Kloche is with former President John Dramani Mahama on his thank you tour in the Western region. Grace.
Away from politics, to minimize the impact of climate change on food production in Ghana, an initiative to support farmers in Ashanti region to replant degraded forests has been launched. The farmers from 10 communities in 3 forest districts in Achimamponia, Asante North and South would be handed a 10-hectare degraded area to restore and plant their crops. My colleague Ibrahim Abubakar is joining us for a conversation on this. Ibrahim, it's good to have you. First of all, what is special about these 3 forest areas that have been selected?
So, Grace, when you look at these 3 districts that you mentioned, Achimamponia, Asante North and South, that's where we have the 2 main forest districts in Ashanti region. That's the Nkawie Forest District and the Dwaso Forest District. And as at 2001, in Ashanti region alone, these forest zones were providing 1.5 million hectares of forest cover. And by 2020, it was around a little over 1.5. By 2020, the forest cover has reduced to less than 1 million. We are now in 2023. It keeps coming down because of activities of illegal loggers, illegal miners, and also farmers. Farmers want to expand their farming activities because of the growing demand of food. So they end up cutting down some of these food. So when you go to these areas, you realize that the degradation there is massive there. So now what's the Joint by Forestry Commission Right Advocate Initiative and also Forest Institute, they are joining us to make sure that they engage these farmers, inculcate the habit of even planting trees in their farms. Now what they've done is that they've been able to identify some of the degraded areas, 10 hectares of these degraded areas, and they are giving out to farmers. They will be assisting them with trees so that they will plant whilst also cropping under it. After 4 years, when the tree covers come, then they will have to leave. Now, what they are doing to make sure that they don't discourage the farmers from leaving the forest is that they will ensure that after these commercial trees arrive for selling or whatever, they will be entitled to 40% of it. I briefly engaged with some of the farmers how beneficial this activity will be to them. And in fact, they also are telling the Forestry Commission to also help them, especially their forest guard, by also enforcing their rules.
Ebire atwam no ohwɛ ani nsuo tɔ na abrɛ so ewiabɔ na abrɛ so ekuafo ye no baye te se bia ye koko ani ye nya bi bibia koso kama but eneyi no o check the climate change na aba na ama ekuafo ye sofa pa o ekura na se ho no na ye dwumadie bia ye den ye di mu udua na baye na unya bi
emframa ye fe kurom ne kro ne ba ni nyina no se ye ntimi anua no a na abrabɔ na ne de he intene de moya de nte ya som senso ayimfo ne ye beboa se eno an se forest fo nso so behwe se wo mo aye twa no se de bi ho asam brɛ wo mo a wo so betimi asom na se de brɛ wo ne se wo mutimi chi ba ko mienu a do wo kyire no ba baka se mi so me koyɛ de mbakɔ akotom ntimi nkɔ biom na se de wo mo ba na obehwa ni age bibi wo ho ni agya wo mammo be fi ade bia ene wo mbese adwuma no mbetwa.
Yes, Ibrahim, so you've initially mentioned that the farmers are getting 40% of the proceeds from this project. What else is there for them, and how are they receiving this proposal?
Well, it's a welcoming news for them, and in fact, like the first farmer rightly mentioned, the change of weather pattern, that's the impact of climate change, is even affecting food production. So when they are able to grow these trees, at least it will help them with their farming activities. And for the lead coordinator, that's the Right Advocacy for Initiative Network, they are hoping that this will improve farmers' livelihood, and also the time to act is now when it comes to climate change.
All over the world, we are talking about climate change, and there is the need for action. We've talked for so long. We have to put our words into action. And this action includes what we intend doing: planting trees on farms, restoring degraded forests. So there's a component of the project that is looking at provision of seedlings for farmers to restore degraded forests through the modified Tunja system. So through the modified, what we call the MCS, farmers are given degraded parts of forest. They plant food crops together with commercial tree species or timber tree species. So they nurture the trees together with their food crops. So in the short and medium term, they benefit from the food crops that come from the forest. After about 4 years, when the canopy of the tree closes up, they leave the forest and allow the trees to grow.
This is obviously a good project, and we hope it lives to achieve the purpose for which it is being rolled out. Ibrahim, thank you for speaking to us. We'll come back to you for more.
Let's do more stories. Experts have continued to weigh in on government's lithium concessionary agreement with Barari DV Ghana Limited. Vice President of Imani Africa, Bright Simons, has proposed a price and discovery clause around the royalties to be accrued from mining the mineral in Ghana. According to him, lithium, which he refers to as a green economy enabler, is a metal that will see the highest growth in demand in the next 25 years.
Speaking to Alfred Okansi on TV3's Key Points, Bright Simons says Ghana's equity in the lithium mines may come with a risk.
When it comes to owning equity in the find, it's not all rosy, because the equity that the type where we have to also pay money to run the mine comes with risk. So you need to have situations where you have the option to exercise, not to offside, etc., etc., which is exactly what MEF has done. It's not clear why the government is not doing it for the parts of the ownership that accrue to the state.
The Economist proposes a pricing discovery around royalties that will accrue from mining the mineral, and that government must relook at the terms of the agreement before submitting to Parliament.
The idea of a variable royalty structure makes a lot of sense. You have a base minimum, a floor, and then when the economics transform or change dramatically, you adjust it. There's an automatic adjustment mechanism that increases it. So, for instance, just a year ago, spodumene concentrate, which is the main output from the mine that we are developing at Ewuya, or Atlantic Lithium is developing at Ewuya, was in excess of $8,000 in some places, ranging from $4,000 to $6,000 in others. Now it's above $1,000. So if there's a prospect that it can go back up to 8,000, or you move beyond even the current mineral that is being produced, which is the spodumene concentrate, and start to introduce more higher value chemical derivatives like lithium carbonate or hydroxide, then we are talking about a situation where the main output of the mine goes up to like $80,000, like it did last year, November, when lithium hydroxide and the like were selling for $80,000. So if you benchmark that price to the lithium oxide in our spodumene, you get a sense of how high this could have gone. Already, even at the current price and at the price that they use for their feasibility study, that pricing was about $1,600. On that pricing, they get their money back from the plant, the building, to do the spodumene concentrate. They get their money back in 5 months. So there's no reason why an investor that gets their money back in 5 months and then in about 2 years will have fully recovered all other expenses, etc., and made enough profit, should continue to own 87%. There should be a way in which, as they recover their investment, we have the option to claw back some of the equity. So these are all creative options that we've suggested, and it doesn't really hurt for the parliament, now that they are going to be seized with this issue, to insist on these things. And maybe the government, even before it sends it to parliament, given all the feedback that is coming, should consider renegotiating the agreement before it sends it to parliament.
Let's delve further into this. Dr. Yousef Suman is a mining and energy expert who is joining us via Zoom to make us understand this better. Doc, you have heard what the Lands Minister has been saying. Are you convinced about the deal? Is it good or not?
Yeah, thank you very much, and thank you for having me once again. Good afternoon to you and your cherished viewers and listeners. Yeah, indeed, that's very interesting. I don't have a straightforward answer to say I'm comfortable or not. I wish we could get more, but looking at the circumstances that we find ourselves, we have put ourselves in this tight situation. If you ask me, within this space, extractive space, are we neophytes? No, we are not. And so that's how come people are arguing that 30% or 29% is something we could have gotten far, far more, looking at the fact that Ghana has been in the extractive industry for quite a long time, especially gold. And to be in the extractive industry for this long, there are two things that we needed to have been able to scale up our equity or our interest. One would have been the technical know-how, and the second would have been the financial wherewithal. The latter is what I think overrules everything. We haven't made that concerted effort over the years with the minerals and even oil that we have to have what we call reinvestment strategy, a strategy that we can plow back, reinvest to be able to capture back the state. Look, if we don't reinvest, there's no way we can get something substantial. Now we are talking about 30% and we are trying. Assuming we are that we can be given, let's say, 10% and it is paid. Do we have the money to be able to pay that? That's the difficult thing. But I think if we had invested, create that buffer financial space, I believe we could have even gotten 40, 50% of this deal. But with the status quo or with our current portfolio in terms of amount of investment that we have pumped into the extractive sector, I think what we are getting is just what we deserve at this moment in time. However, like all experts are putting their points, I think the government and the minister, they have to put all the expert points on board. If there's a possibility to get something more, why not? If there's possibility to make room for other areas where we can get more, why not? Like my good friend Bright suggested, if you make it variable, of course, it's a trade-off and it's a double-edged sword. If you make it variable, and he's saying that with the ambit of the fact that lithium is noted to be something that will be a lookout for, sought out for going forward. However, also that depends on how this energy transition goes. Assuming we have bottlenecks within energy transition and that of lithium, the access or people requirement for lithium reduces. Of course, you make it variable, you also stand to lose. But of course, there's nothing that is there that has no risk. The fact is that lithium is something that could be far, far more than gold going forward if we do our access. So going forward, I want to urge that the government of Ghana should put all stakeholders involved, and I'm happy that the minister has met these CSOs to listen to them, and all the points that they have, they should put it on board. After all, everybody wants
Dr.
a betterment for the nation.
Just like you indicated, we know that Bright Simons, the vice president of Imani Africa, is proposing a price and discovery clause around the royalties. What is your take on this?
Yeah, so my take is just, I think it's positive. It's a forward-looking one. Looking at the fact that if you juxtapose it with the fact that lithium is something that is going to be sought for, going forward, especially like I mentioned, depending on how this energy transition goes up. Progresses. And then the other side of it is the fact that, like I mentioned, making a variable or putting this price clause is just to be able to optimize, our benefits. We stand the chance of optimizing the benefit. Also, the other way we have to look at it is the fact that, assuming the price also drop and we make it variable, it means, of course, we stand to lose. That's why I mentioned that it's a double-edged sword. Make it variable, make it fixed. But I think making it variable, looking at what lithium mineral as it is now, I think it's something positive to do, and it's forward-looking.
Thank you for your time this afternoon. Dr. Yousef Suman is a mining and energy expert. You're still watching Weekend Central here on TV3. We are live on DSTV channel 279, also streaming across the world at TV3 Ghana. Do stay with us. We're back with more stories. Please don't go anywhere.
It's time for golden season. Time to try your luck. The rules are simple. You can place bets on any sports event. Get promotional tickets. Take part in prize draws. What's the season? It's golden season. Time to try your luck. Use the promo code to get your welcome bonus.
This advertisement has been vetted and approved by the Gaming Commission of Ghana. Bet responsibly, not for persons below 18 years. Gambling can
Everybody knows Acrobato. And if you know Acrobato, it means you know Endpoint Homeopathic Clinic. Endpoint Homeopathic Clinic is my pillar. Let's hear what others are saying about Endpoint Homeopathic Clinic. Who will be careful Endpoint one?
Chesena me ankasa me period na se problems wom ntina ma wo ho idea ma me papa chesena nya asem ketewa na me coin point no mo hwe me modam no mo hwe bibia na so mo medu me fire no ene ma won kra me enu kofro kwa na mkwan mu a eba and everything yourself
me ma me no adwodwo eda ho a wontumi nante ene ne ko endpoint o mama no nura ene ne ho idea watimi asori anante.
That's endpoint for you of Acrobato. Hello hey ohwehwe what che okay a free bra wo di endpoint what dance am me call you no me Joseph Suman enkoye and person na my nyina and imagine sabema na me be fear for there the one nyina jaresa. You heard everything. I have secret. Endpoint is my secret. Endpoint Homeopathic Clinic. I'm free.
It's a great evening to get together once again to celebrate the Ghanaian ingenuity and the Ghanaian creativity. Something is about to happen tonight that will change the narrative and the way we define the word L-U-C-K-N-Y.
Right, and tonight we'll be presenting to you a very beautiful opportunity to tell you that wherever you are and no matter what you do, luck can get to you. And so whether you're a doctor, you're a pharmacist, whether you're a mason, whether you're a journalist, regardless of what you do, there's luck coming for you.
Genius Losa and the Luckiest has been launched, and I expect the public to also participate in it and win big.
Star 7 1 2 hash.
The luckiest. You could be the luckiest.
Wish you a Merry Christmas.
Fellow Ghanaians, higher Papa and you. The higher we go, the highest we go there. Higher a global #1 home appliance brand. Where are you giddy? Over check on net so. Higher our home appliance BRB from fridges, deep freezers, air conditioners, washing machines, gas cookers. After news nini, higher double Christmas celebration. Bronya double savings abeton also. If you see that, Bronya way so would you higher washing machine, submarine series, you know, and as a gas cooker. Yati so boom talent. Yasa your microwave oven for free. Season ya. So we to higher TV 50-inch and that's a 55-inch. Yacha 32-inch television. Eka home for free. Zaga walata.
And a call from New Year.
Higher double Christmas celebration. Our Cup from Ghana Limited throughout the festive season. Higher global #1. Higher inspired.
This is Hot Issues, your passport to the most compelling conversations of our time. We go one-on-one with the movers and shakers, the thought leaders, and the game changers. We ask the questions that matter, and we don't back down.
Tonight on Hot Issues, I sit with the man at the Center of Corruption Investigations.
Join me on Hot Issues here on TV3.
Hot Issues shows Sundays at 2 p.m. on TV3.
TV3, first in news.
Do you wanna be a star?
Semi-final round is here on Mentor Season 12. The competition gets fiercer and tougher as we inch closer to the grand finale. Catch all the action, emotions, and electrifying performances on the Freestyle Battle Edition this Sunday on TV3 Mentor 12. Our contestants will battle it out with each other in freestyles to wow their audiences and, of course, move a step further towards the grand finale. Which contestant makes it to the top 4 for the grand finale? Vote now to keep your favorite contestant in the competition and to win the ultimate mouth-watering prize package of over 150k worth of goodies and cash. Come join us this and every Sunday at TV3 Studio B at Desawe for the live musical experience. Studio audience must be seated by 7:30 p.m. sharp, or catch the live show on TV at 8 p.m. on TV3. Mentor Season 12. The world awaits you.
Mentor is brought to you by Heaven Black Insecticide Spray and Mosquito Coil, and Napa Foods Sense Body Spray,
Bell Ice, Vitamilk, Dragnet, Pepsodent Charcoal and Lemon Infused Formula, and Pepsodent Natural Herbal Formula, Darling Lemon Drink, Frutelli Calipo, Blackberry Lounge. Christmas is
Welcome back to Weekend Central, and thank you for staying. My name is Godwin Asediba. Let's do more stories. Chieftaincy and Religious Minister Stephen Asamoah Boateng has defended the introduction of a national policy on religion. The policy is expected to sanitize the religious front and ensure Christians do not take advantage of innocent congregants.
And I've seen people where people set up churches, nobody knows them, and have a congregation, and a pregnant woman will go for prayers and they stamp their feet on the pregnant belly, and some of them will pour something on them or use some, I don't know, some concoction. Nobody has validated it, and no medical certificate has been given. It's a lot.
Right. So it means that bothers. I'll come back to a point, but that bothers the ministry. What you have just mentioned bothers the ministry a lot.
It's not just the ministry. There's a concern in the communities, the Christian community. Some senior pastors obviously are worried that the junior ones, if we're not careful, would destroy the image of Christianity. Okay. So the issues have come up. That's why there's an engagement in the public domain. Okay. So I'm not the one who is saying that we have to change. The issues have come up.
Is the ministry in a position to do anything about that?
But that's why there's a policy we put out.
I mean, the policy is a slow move.
It's not a slow move. That is, you have to have a guideline.
It takes time, doesn't it?
Yeah, but you cannot, we're not in a military government where you can say immediate and urgent and do that. No, you got to engage everybody and find a way. And my approach is that there should be self-regulation rather than government regulation.
Let's talk about Christmas, shall we? Well, Christmas is a joyous occasion many look forward to celebrate. However, for 27-year-old Elizabeth Amwa, she has nothing to celebrate this year due to harsh economic conditions in the country. The mother of two says she has no plans for Christmas and will spend the occasion like a normal working day. Godwin Asediba and Nanaba Ejiri have more in this report.
It's another time of the year where many take time to spend and celebrate with their loved ones and exchange gifts. Old Fadama, one of Ghana's largest slums, there's no sign of Christmas, no decoration, no festive lights or sale of festive items. It's the usual hustle and bustle for residents. Elizabeth Amwa, a 27-year-old mother of two, has called Old Fadama home for a decade, dedicating her days to assisting her employer to sell food.
Life is tough. Things are not going better for us, especially in our business.
She does this work because she wants to secure a modest income to ensure her 2 children are always catered for.
I pay rent 200 Ghana cedis a month, pay to bath, and to attend to nature's call.
While many parents shower their children with gifts during the festive season, Elizabeth says she has not made enough money this year to make Christmas a truly joyous occasion for her kids and loved ones.
In fact, I am not feeling the Christmas. I don't have money to buy Christmas items for my children and myself.
Stepping into her humble abode, the makeshift walls here almost blend with the roof overhead. This is where Elizabeth, her children and her employer spend their night, a place they call home.
When night falls and we are about sleeping, we arrange the place for space for the children.
Despite her unwavering work ethic, Elizabeth admits it will be difficult to celebrate due to the challenging income circumstances.
Here in the capital Accra, if you move to some parts, you can feel the Christmas atmosphere in the air. But in slums like Old Fadama, the story is totally different. 27-year-old Elizabeth is struggling to make ends meet, and she has been telling me that it will be very difficult to make this Christmas festivity memorable for her and her 2 children. Well, she cooks jollof here. Let me have a taste. Thank you. It looks really colorful. Well, my name is Godwin Asediba, reporting for TV3 News. See you later when I'm done with the food.
Godwin, this is so not fair. So you this is so not fair. You went there to eat the woman's jollof.
That food was so good.
I was telling you that so even looking at the color here, I was salivating already. So you have to take me there.
There's actually something that people say that the good wache is the one that they sell by the gutters.
Yeah.
And you know,
this jollof,
when I saw it, I was like, nah, I have to taste this before I leave.
You have to take me there,
I was never disappointed.
Let's have lunch there tomorrow.
I'm up for it. Well, let's do more stories. The work of assembly members is often disregarded, particularly by the urban elite, leading to low interest and turnout below 40% at the district level elections. In the lead up to the December 19 polls, Nancy Vukania report on the relevance of assembly members to the border governance structure of the country and how interest can be whipped up within the electorate to participate in the polls.
Assembly members in Ghana play a crucial role in community governance. Despite having an unpaid job, these representatives bridge the gap between the community and higher levels of government.
When you wake up, you go to the electorate, the people in your electoral area, you consult them, you ask them their problems, as in what they are facing in their electoral areas or their homes, and they will communicate back to you as the assembly member. And when you go to the assembly, you lobby, you tell them the problems of the people in your electoral area.
Everybody in the community expects that once they tell you about their problems, you should be able to solve their problems.
They have been asking for some form of budgetary allocation to support their work due to expectations from some of the electorate.
As assembly members, we've been able to push for a bylaw to be passed that every electoral area must have a common fund or some form of development fund, that if at least once it's been budgeted for, if the assembly member comes to the assembly with a problem, that do not need to go through all the protocols, all the bureaucracies to get whatever done, we can fall on that budget.
We are pleading with the assembly, be it municipal, metro, district. Some of the things, most of them come from our pockets. If there's going to be any way that they are going to help us in salaries or anything that will aid us in doing more for our people, we'll be glad.
Large sections of the voting public, particularly urban elites, often disregard assembly members. The result is an extremely low turnout in local government elections.
District level elections, they are the bedrock of our democracy. When we talk of people getting closer to government getting closer to people, talk about representative democracy, that is where it starts. So if these things are working very well, then it means that the communication, the interaction between the people from the base of our society up to the national level, there will be continuous interaction.
70% of the 150 electorates spoken to in Accra did not know their electoral area. Meanwhile, the minister says sensitization for the election has intensified.
For the past 2 months, and I have actually followed it, there have been a lot of advertisements. The main reason why the turnout is low is because political parties by the constitution are not allowed to sponsor candidates. If political parties were allowed to sponsor candidates, political parties will have mobilized people and the participation will have been high. But because political parties are not allowed to do that by our constitution, that's one of the main reasons why participation is low.
The local governance structure in Ghana is simple and cannot deliver on the desired goals without the active participation of all eligible voters in the election of assembly members who hold the fort at the grassroots. Therefore, it behoves on the electorate to honor these 3 things: know your electoral area, register to vote for your local representatives, and come election day, show up and exercise your vote. It is one of the means to influence the administration of your localities. Nancy Vokania, TV3 News, Accra.
And here in the studio, my name is Grace Hamwa Ajuman. I'm here with
Godwin Asediba.
We're back after this break. Don't go away.
Yeah.
TV Mutantala Butele. Unyabi wa baby out. And this is a Franco Trading Enterprise in Kwa. TV the inches near say.
86 inches.
And of what Rayco Pebio, Ewa Manone. And a bit share say. Franco Trading Enterprise shop here. No one may be. Franco say, running only one lady into what they are changing from Kuwait. And you now amount. And then our catcher Franco.
Catcher Franco said.
It's a great evening to get together once again to celebrate the Ghanaian ingenuity and the Ghanaian creativity. Something is about to happen tonight that will change the narrative and the way we define the word L-U-C-K-N-Y.
Right, and tonight we'll be presenting to you a very beautiful opportunity to tell you that wherever you are and no matter what you do, luck can get to you. And so whether you're a doctor, you're a pharmacist, whether you're a mason, whether you're a journalist, regardless of what you do, there's luck coming for you.
Genius Losa and the Luckiest has been launched, and I expect the public to also participate in it and win big.
Star 7 1 2 hash.
The luckiest. You could be the luckiest.
And the brand new season of Drama in the Kitchen. The drama keeps sizzling more and more.
You like doing this. Is it because you think you are older than me or what? Who told Kwesi about me taking care of my boyfriend because he has lost his job? Who told him? I don't know.
This week on the show, we have friends battling it out in the kitchen. Tina and Chloe are friends for life, but when it got down to a little bit of gossip, they may have been separated and the friendship put on the back burner. Will they be able to reignite what has been a friendship of 24 years? A large bite. Okay. Something like gossip shouldn't come in the way of true friends. This week on Drama in the Kitchen, as we see if these friends can cook their way back to being BFFs.
Drama in the Kitchen shows Sundays at 4 p.m. on TV3. Brought to you by Taste.
Welcome back. This is Weekend Central on TV3. Let's do health because the Deputy Minister of the sector, Tina Mensah, says the mass exodus of healthcare professions from Ghana to developed countries is of great concern to government. Speaking at the 10th graduation ceremony for the Ministry of Health Training Institutions at the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology, she indicated that government is taking steps to retain some of the best health professionals.
The role of the middle-level health professional that we are graduating today cannot be overemphasized. They are the backbone of our hospitals, clinics, and communities, providing comfort care and healing to those in need. The critical nature of their work makes the mass exodus of nurses and other health workers in recent years a great concern to the government of Ghana. As a result, the Nana Akufo-Addo-led government is taking strenuous steps to revamp and open up the health sector to enable it to absorb the top-notch health professionals that this country trains. The fact that the Western economies are so ready to employ doctors, nurses, and other health workers from Ghana is a clear indication that our education and training systems are excellent.
Let's do road crashes now. The National Road Safety Authority is collaborating with stakeholders across Ghana to boost public awareness about road safety, especially during the festive season. Over 50,000 people have died in road crashes within the last 23 years, with an average daily loss of 6 lives. 70% of the victims are male. There's more in this report.
The Greater Accra, Ashanti and Eastern regions in Ghana account for 70% of road accidents, with 80% attributed to human errors. Fridays and Sundays are the most affected, accounting for 16% of all recorded cases. The National Road Safety Authority is partnering with churches to promote road safety awareness during the Yuletide season. The initiative encourages pastors and church leaders to incorporate safety messages into their sermons.
We have recognized that the clergy is one of the very strong tools for us to adopt and use to propagate our message on road safety. This is because they are very close and closer to the people. You all know the relevance of church in Christmas. That is where we are going to converge. Now, we all look up to our clergy, our pastors, our reverends, our bishops, to lead us in throughout these festivities into the next year.
It's time for entertainment now. Ardent followers of Globe Production have every reason to be excited because another historical play is about to hit the theatre soon. Prolific playwright Lateef Abubakar is out with another fascinating literary performances, The Second Coming of Nkrumah. There's more in this report by 3 Entertainment. Have a look.
Will theatre lovers be in for yet another thrilling festivities as the CEO of Globe Productions, Lateef Abubakar, gears up for his much-anticipated play, The Second Coming of Nkrumah?
No, you see, I'll go there, but I'll go protect you. I'll go take bullet for you.
How can you stand behind me when the gun is facing me in front?
But I'll tell you, see, the one in the front, if you go see where you go take up. The one in from back, you don't go see if it back or no, for back. You don't go see.
The 1 hour and 45-minute production, which aims at promoting African unity, will see cast reenact roles of some founding fathers of Africa, with Ghana's first president, Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, at the center of the role.
Look, if somebody must go back to Africa to economically emancipate the continent, then Nkrumah, it must be you. Even the blacks in the diaspora, Marcus Garvey, Martin Luther King, they were all saying, hey, Africa is crying for you. We wish that it can be possible, so that whatever he started and couldn't finish, he would just come and finish. But it's up to, you know, our present leaders to look at this and say that, hey, if he could not do it, let me continue from where he left off.
Running from the 27th to Saturday, December 13, the second coming of Nkrumah offers patrons top-notch entertainment with lasting impressions and memories of culture, heritage and history.
I think that we need to continue to tell our story, use the art and culture to preach unity, to preach selflessness and to preach togetherness.
Something about Nkrumah, it looks like something that will be beautiful to watch.
Yes, from the brief Fred Amovi gives us, it looks like it's something we should all go and watch.
And
so,
it's an era of playwright, if I should say, and stage play as well. We know that Uncle Ebo White is also exceptional when it comes to that.
This week, George Quay and the Gods Are Not to Blame is returning to the theatres.
Yes, and I have to watch it again. Well, thank you very much for your time. It's always a pleasure coming your way. This has been Weekend Central. My name is Godwin Asediba.
I'm Grace Hamwa Jiman. Thank you. Enjoy your Sunday.
Bye.